Hi everyone, it's Mr. Hoffman, and today we are going to be talking about dots and ties. I'm really excited to talk about this with you because it sort of pulls together a bunch of stuff that we've been doing. So first off, for this assignment, you're going to watch this video and or read slides 2, 3, and 4. Then do slides 5 and 6. Both slides. Ties. In recent weeks, we have talked about how ties can be used to combine two or more notes into one longer sound. For example, do, do is two notes that sound for 2 beats each. A half note is 2 beats. But by adding a tie between the two notes, we get one sound that is 4 beats. 2 beats plus 2 beats, which is 4. Do. The notes do not have to be the same length. For example, do is a quarter note tied to an eighth note. Do. Listen to how that sounds if I clap eighth notes instead. Do. A quarter note is 1 beat, an eighth note is a half beat, so the rhythm shown above is one sound that lasts for 1.5 beats, or 3 half beats, 3 eighth notes, or 1.5 quarter notes. Ties can be used to connect notes within the measure and across bar lines. For example, the rhythm here shows a whole note, which is 4 beats, and a quarter note, which is 1 beat, tied together. So the rhythm shown above, this one here, I should zoom in on that. That rhythm shown there is one sound that lasts for 4 plus 1 beats, or 5 beats. Even though the rhythm extends past one measure, you can see that it goes over the bar line. If 2 or more smaller notes within the measure are tied, sometimes you can replace them with an equivalent larger note or longer note. You would do this to save space and make your music look less complicated. For example, this rhythm of a half note tied to a half note can be replaced with a whole note. This makes sense because a half note tied to a half note is 2 beats plus 2 beats in the same note, which is 4 beats. And a whole note is 4 beats. This is especially helpful when we have more than 2 notes tied together. For example, this rhythm of a quarter note, and then an eighth note tied to an eighth note tied to a quarter note becomes quarter note, half note. This makes sense because when we add the lengths of the tied notes together, 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1, we get the length of the half note that replaced them, 2 beats. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1, plus 1 is 2. This rhythm sounds like this. Do, do, do. Dots. Dots are another useful tool for simplifying rhythms. Placing a dot after a note extends the note by half of its normal length. Sometimes we can represent the same rhythm in multiple ways by using dots and ties. We will work with 2 different dotted notes or rests this year. A half note is 2 beats, but And this didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. But the dotted half note is 2 beats plus half of 2 beats, which is really 2 beats plus 1 beat, which is 3 beats. Here's what that looks like in notation. As you can see, we have the half note tied to the quarter note is 2 plus 1 beats. Then there's another quarter note in the measure. We can replace the half note tied to a quarter note with a dotted half note, because a dotted half note is 2 plus 1 beats. And then there's that quarter note that ends the measure. For a quarter note is 1 beat. And a dotted quarter, again, didn't turn out the way visually that I wanted it to, and I'm going to try to fix that before I post the lesson. But it does look like this note that I've circled on here. Again, I apologize. I'm not sure why it did that, but I will try to fix that. And as we can see, the dotted quarter is 1 beat plus 1/2 of 1 beat, which is just a half. So that means 1 plus 1/2. So that's 1.5 beats. Here's what it looks like in notation. We have a quarter note tied to an eighth note. Ooh, let's draw that better. A quarter note tied to an eighth note. Then there's an eighth note and then another quarter note to end the measure. In the second version of it, we have a dotted quarter note, which is 1.5 beats. Then the eighth note and the quarter note to end out the measure. This rhythm sounds like this. Do, do, do. Here's what it sounds like if I clap a steady beat. Do, do, do. Now you will do these 2 worksheets. The first one is called Plowing Through. Add the number of beats displayed on the small snowballs. Write the total number of beats on the big snowball. For example, dotted half note is 3 beats. Quarter note is 1 beat. Quarter note is 1 beat. Together, that's 3 plus 1 plus 1, or 5. And you'll do this for the rest. Remember that anytime you see 2 eighth notes together, like it is here and here, 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 and here, and other places on the worksheet. Actually, I don't see any others on this worksheet. In these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases, remember that the 2 eighth notes together is just 1 beat. So if you see the 2 eighth notes, the ones that I've circled in purple, that just means 1 beat. There are 8 snowballs, or 8 big snowballs to fill in, and each of them has 3 little snowballs that you're going to add up. For the second worksheet, Snowball Fight, you're going to add the total number of beats underneath each child shown on the worksheet and write that number in the box. For example, for number 1, we have a whole note and a whole note. 2 whole notes. Each whole note is 4 beats. 4 plus 4 is 8. For number 2, we have a dotted half note, which is 3 beats, and then a whole note, which is 4 beats. 3 plus 4 is 7. For number 3, remember, when we see 2 eighth notes together, that's 1 beat, because it's 1/2 plus 1/2. Then we have a quarter note, which is 1 beat. So 1 beat plus 1 beat is 2. And you'll continue like this for the rest of the worksheet. If you have any questions, come to office hours or send me a message and reach out for help. Have a great rest of your day, and I'm looking forward to seeing your hard work on dots and ties. Bye.